Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Savannah, Georgia, the Hostess City. And yes, it is a gorgeous place with beautiful architecture, great museums, beautiful historic homes, cool tours, amazing food, and this great southern charm atmosphere that you're going to love coming here. But we're not going to focus on those things you do when you come here. We're going to focus on those things you don't do when you come to Savannah. And that's why this video is the don'ts of visiting Savannah, Georgia. And my first don't for you, I'm going to start actually at the airport, is don't freak out when you walk out of the airport in the summertime. The reason I say that is the heat and humidity here in Savannah in July, August, early September can be super, super high, super intense. And I remember the first time I came to visit Jocelyn here. She lived here for 10 years. I remember I'm in the airport with the air conditioning, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm already excited. I'm gonna kiss this here. Let's go see Savannah. And the doors open and I go, I mean, I couldn't breathe because the humidity was so strong and so dense. And so it kind of freaked me out. The thing is, it took like 10 seconds. I was okay. But that first humidity, man, don't freak out. Don't freak out. It'll be okay. That's why Jocelyn will tell you, it's like, look, your best times to come is from October through April or May. Those are the best times to come. Actually, Jocelyn will tell you her favorite times are April and October because you got great weather, you got the foliage, and you've got the flowers in the spring and all kinds of stuff, so that's really cool. But that's my first one. It's just FYI for that one. My second don't for you is when you come to Savannah, and really in the South, but in Savannah specifically, don't forget your manners, your sunblock, and your bug spray, okay? Look, don't forget those thank yous and pleases, and yes, you are going to give your seat up to that nice old lady or nice old man that's in that room with you. You're going to do that. Manners are key here in Savannah and anywhere in the South, and it should be anywhere in the world, but here specifically, okay, so don't forget your manners. Another don't will go along with that is, look, the sunblock, the sun is can be very hot here, very intense, and yes, we do have these beautiful trees here, but the thing is, you're going to be walking around the city a lot, so make sure you put on your sunblock and reapply. And if you're going to go to Tybee Island and go to the beaches out there, man, make sure you're lathering up a lot. And those bug spray, okay, the baseball team now is called the Savannah Bananas. It used to be called the Savannah Sand Gnats, which I thought was more appropriate because the sand gnats, the palmetto bugs, which are like big flying roaches, yeah, those things will freak you out. And the mosquitoes, they'll eat you alive in season. So make sure you do bring those bug sprays to kind of help out with those things. There's CVS's and all those places around here. You can pick it up, but just a heads up for those. Now, my next don't for you is don't be surprised how friendly the people are here in Savannah. I mean, it's kind of like that. You're going to the store and people randomly talk to you and be friendly with you. Yes, that is how it is here. People are super friendly. That's why it's called the Hostess City, because people go out of their way to help you, be friendly to you, show the tourists around and things like that. We're at this restaurant called Flying Fish, and my credit card fell out of the container. It went through the slit in the floor. They pried open the floor to get my credit card out. I'm like, whoa, I mean, I could have canceled it, man. You didn't need to do that. But that's the kind of friendliness you see here in Savannah, and that's why I really love coming back here, because the people are super friendly. So don't freak out about it. They're not being fake. They really are that friendly. You know, one of the things that might help along that friendliness is don't be surprised if you see a few open containers of alcohol when you're walking around the downtown area. Look, Savannah is one of the few places in the US where you can walk around with open liquor in a plastic cup, no glass containers, all plastic and stuff like that. You can do that, so that kind of is one of those things. But just know that don't take that plastic cup of beer or whatever anywhere downtown. There's specific places where you can go with that, so just a heads up for that one. Now, my next don't for you is don't forget to book your accommodation early. Savannah is an incredibly popular weekend destination and holiday destination, not just for couples and romantics or art connoisseurs or architecture or history buffs. It's for all kinds of people. The Girl Scouts of America were founded here, so in the summer you have Girl Scout trips going all over the place, and they'll have conferences here and all kinds of things, because it is such a gorgeous city with usually great weather. And so things book up very quickly. So if you're gonna come here and you want a good place, you wanna be on Bay Street here at the River Street Inn or wherever, you need to book early, okay? And the thing is, if you're looking at St. Patrick's Day, which is really popular, I mean, the St. Patrick's Day parade here in Savannah is one of the biggest in the US. You really need to book quite early, okay? Now, my next don't for you has to do with when you fly in, you're going into the Savannah Hilton Head Airport. Look, my next don't for you is don't tell Savannians that they're like Hilton Head. It is night and day. Hilton Head versus Savannah. Savannah is historic center and charm and all kind of stuff like that. And Hilton Head is, it's timeshares and golf courses, okay? It's a very different setup. So even though the airports have the name together, realize the cities are completely different, all right? And don't call the Savannahans Hilton Headers. That will not go over well. Now, my next don't for you is don't be scared when you come to Savannah. Savannah is one of the most haunted cities in America. Yes, you will see ghost tours and haunted tours and all kinds of stuff that you can do when you're here. And you'll see the cemeteries. You'll see go to the pirate's house to eat, and they'll tell the stories of the pirates and getting shanghaied and stuff like that. And realize that there are a lot of ghost stories. There are things like that. So you don't have to be scared about that. But I will say one of the don'ts for the things to worry about is don't be complacent with your safety downtown late at night, okay? Savannah has had a crime problem for a while. They're working on it, but it is something that tourists should probably take heed to. So if you're going out and you don't feel comfortable, maybe it's time to head to a different part or a different street or head back to your hotel. But that is something you really have to consider when you do come here. Now, we're staying here down on River Street and Bay Street and stuff like that. We haven't had any problems this time, but we have seen there have been issues, so just a heads up for that one, okay? But most likely, the most dangerous thing you're going to run into as a tourist here is probably the Spanish moss. When you see the Spanish moss around here, it looks cool. It's that stuff, that moss that's hanging from the trees. Like, oh, that is so cool. Let me grab it. Let me touch it. Let me hold it and rub it on me. No. Don't touch it. Don't rub it on you. Don't get anywhere near it, because the Spanish moss is full of little bugs that are going to bite you, and make you itch all over. So keep it off of you. So if you got little kids and it falls off, do not let them play with it, because, ouch, ow, mommy, it itches, ow, ow, ow. That will happen, okay? Now, another thing that kind of throws the tourists off here, so I want to give you a don't on this one, is don't think that the monuments inside of the square have anything to do with the actual name of the square. So it can kind of throw you off, for one square is named this, but the monument is to this person, and there's another square named after that person in a different monument there. It gets really confusing. So just be like, hey, what square is it at? Don't do the monument thing. Just say which square you're going to. Also, with those squares, don't forget how to drive around the square. That is one of the things that frustrates the locals the most, is tourists driving the squares. Look, if you're gonna be coming up on the squares here, and there's lots of them, is when you have to realize this, you have to give way to the people that are already going around the square. Okay, so if you're coming up to a square, you have to let the other cars go around first. You don't just go right into it. And sometimes that can be confusing, because you're on a straight road going, and then all of a sudden you're at a square. You have to realize, no, I have to stop, even though it's a straight road. I have to wait for them to go around, and then I can go. That's one of the biggest things I see tourists make mistakes, and that's where I see the most car accidents here in Savannah, so do have a heads up for that. And I guess another don't I have for you is parking. Don't. It sucks to park downtown here in Savannah. There are a few parking garages, but there's not a lot of them, and it gets really frustrating to find parking. So that's one thing, is if you're gonna stay downtown and they valet park you, and you will have to pay the valet parking for it, just valet park it, leave it there, and then just walk around the historic part of town, because you can do that easily. The trolley tours and stuff like that you can do to hop on, hop off. There's plenty of stuff for that. And I guess that would be another don't I have for you, is don't skip the trolley tours, and actually any kind of tours here, because Savannah has some of the most excellent tour guides in the country. I mean, they have to take tests to be the tour guides here. It's really great. And if you're going to take one of those trolley tours, take it from the Savannah City History Museum, where the Georgia State Railroad is, and over there, really two fun museums to go to. It's also where the Children's Museum is too, so you can have a nice day there with the kiddies too. You hop on the trolley, it takes you around the town, gives you a great tour of the city with great explanations. So when you walk around and see these beautiful buildings, you know the history behind the Davenport House.
Another don't in Savannah is don't mess with the meter maids. Pay wherever you're parking. You make sure you're paid up, because they will get you about 5 seconds after it expires. Also, there are sweep zones in much of the historic district, so it'll be like a weird time in the middle of the night, and I remember running out and pouring down rain and, well, all kinds of weather to move my car before the meter maid got there, or before the sweeper got there. So don't mess around with those, because you will get tickets, and those fines double and triple, and oh man, you can get your car booted real quick. So don't mess with the meter maids. Make sure you pay those meters, and don't park in the sweep zones.
But another don't I have for you is, if you are going to be driving downtown, don't get too close to the line when you're driving on Bay Street. That's that kind of main drive that goes through the city, because you have big trucks that actually go through there. And Jocelyn has lost a mirror off the side of her car, and you will see that. So do pay attention when you're driving down Bay Street, because it can be pretty bad, okay? Another don't I have for you is, don't think Savannah is just the historic center. Yes, you have the bells going off and the great tour guides and the great trolley buses, see they're ringing to say hi. You have these fantastic peoples, but don't think it's just the historic center. They've got all kinds of other fun stuff you can do. You can go out and explore. And yes, I do make fun of Hilton Head, but you can go golfing there and doing that. But for me, what you want to do is you want to head out to Tybee Island and hit the beach there with the beach bars and get your beach cruiser and ride around there. And you can have a lot of fun when you are here. And that's why I say, don't be surprised if you fall in love with Savannah, because it's got something for everybody. It's got the history, it's got the architecture, it's got great museums, it's got great people, great food, great atmosphere, beach. I mean, the only thing that really sucks is the hot weather where I'm melting away here, all right? Honestly, this place is fantastic and you will not regret coming here. If you want to learn more about coming to Savannah, maybe loves and hates of coming here, I have a video on that. We have don'ts of the South in general, which I really recommend you watch as well, which covers, don't think tea here is not sweet because it's always sweet tea. And what is the difference between barbecue and all kinds of stuff? We talk about that in our Southern food video. We have all kinds of stuff to get you prepared to enjoy this beautiful city and this beautiful part of the country of the Southeast and Savannah. So I'll say bye from here in Savannah, Georgia. It's the Hostess City. If you want to learn more, check out our other travel videos on woltersworld.com or here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/woltersworld. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, of course, YouTube. And we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions. And we hope you have a great time here in Savannah, but don't worry, you will. It's a beautiful place. Bye from Savannah.